Peace be upon you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So, welcome to this new video. Today's lesson is about argumentative essay. Very good. Now let's move. So, the objective of this lesson is that by the end of the video, you will be able to write an argumentative essay. Good. Now let's move to the next slide. Now look at here. What do you see in the picture? So it's a stadium. Okay. Look at the logo on the ground. It's a logo of a football team. You know the name? Do you know the name of this football team? Okay. Now look at the second photo. It's also a stadium of another football team. So this is, we call it El Clásico. This is a Spanish word. In English we say the classic. As in Morocco we say derby. Derby between two football teams, like between Raja and Wydad we call them derby. But here we call them El Clásico or the classic in English. So do you know the names of these football teams? Look at the first photo. Look at the logo. I think the answer is very easy, as ABC. So the football team here is Real Madrid. And in this second photo is Football Club Barcelona. Football Club Barcelona. Good. But do you know the names of these stadiums or stadia? Do you know their names? The first photo, the name of the first stadium for Real Madrid is the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. What about Football Club, or as in Spanish they say Football Club Barcelona? So the name of their stadium is the Camp Nou Stadium. The Camp Nou Stadium. Very good. Now let's move to the next slide. So what do you see in the photo? You see fans. Fans are supporting their favorite football team. So what football team do they support? So they support what? They support Real Madrid. Very good. So, but they don't support another football team, which is Football Club Barcelona. So they don't support it. So they support only Real Madrid. That means what? That means Real Madrid fans are for Real Madrid, but they are against Football Club Barcelona. Very good. Now let's move to the next slide. Look at here. We have Football Club Barcelona fans. Okay, so we have here fans of Football Club Barcelona are supporting their team. Good. But they don't support Real Madrid. So here you can say that the Football Club Barcelona fans are for Football Club Barcelona team, but they are against Real Madrid football team. Very good. Nice. So as you see, after you understand for and against, now today's lesson is about write a for and against essay. So the essay, which is in front of you now, is an argumentative essay. When we say an argumentative essay, it means what? It means we have for and against, or we have advantages and disadvantages, or we have pros and cons, or positives and negatives. Very good. It's like plus and minus. Good. So look at the title. So I'm going to read the essay for you. I will start with the title. Exams are a fair way of testing students. Do you agree? So the title here, that means, do you agree with testing students through exams? If you agree, you have what? You have to give arguments. That means you are for. If you don't agree or you disagree, you have to give what? You have to give arguments against this topic. So I'm going to read first for you. Let's start with the first paragraph. Every year, thousands of students take important exams which can decide their future. For example, students have to pass exams with satisfactory grades in order to get a place in a university. However, are exams a fair way of judging a student's ability? On the one hand, exams seem fair. The questions are the same for all students. Also, the exams are marked according to a strict scheme and usually by more than one examiner. Furthermore, students do the exams at the same time and under the same conditions. On the other hand, there are some drawbacks with exams. Despite some students deserving to pass, they might be so nervous on the big day that they make a mess of the exam. Moreover, there may be other reasons, such as illness, which affect a student's performance in an exam. An alternative to exams would be a system of continuous assessment of coursework by teachers during the year, although this would mean more regular testing and more work for teachers. There would be a greater opportunity for students to copy work too. To sum up, exams are not the ideal way of testing students, and the idea of assessing students' work over a longer period is becoming more popular. In my opinion, the best system would be a mixture of the two, 50% exams and 50% coursework. So this is the essay. We have here a 4-paragraph essay. So before we start writing, you have to answer this or these questions. Let's move. So before you start, that means before writing, before we move to writing stage, read the essay and match these headings with the paragraphs from A to D. We have here 4 headings. We have your conclusions, arguments against the title, introduction, finally arguments for the title. So you can now open your notebook or take a piece of paper and write down this task. Then you can go back to the video or to the essay and do matching. Now you can pause the video to do the exercise. So the key answers is that the paragraph A is introduction. Paragraph B, arguments for the title. Paragraph C, arguments against the title. And the last paragraph, D, is your conclusions. Very good. To make it clear for you, so first we have the title, then introduction, then arguments for the title, next arguments against the title, then your conclusions. Title here, it's like topic, to make it clear for you. Nice. So now, before again to start writing an essay, which of the underlined linking words that contrast ideas, list ideas, summarize, and give examples? Now, you can go back to the previous slide. You can read the essay and what? And classify or categorize the expressions that are underlined in the essay, starting from example and until to sum up. You can pause the video if you finish the exercise. Now let's move. So contrasting ideas, we have what? We have however, on the one hand, on the other hand, despite, and although. Despite and although express contrast and also concession, if you remember. If you know about concession, it means what? It means cause and unexpected result, unlike cause and effect. Good. Next, list ideas. We have also, furthermore, moreover, to. You don't mean to list ideas. That means what? That means to put them in order. First idea, second idea, third idea, fourth, etc. Good. Then we have summarize, to sum up, and finally to give examples, like we have for example and such as. Very good. Now let's move to while writing stage. Now it's about to prepare you and to help you how to write a for and against essay. So let's read first instruction. So choose one of the titles below and write an essay. So we have three titles or three topics. You can choose one. Let's start with topic number 1. There should be no compulsory school subjects. Compulsory here, it means obligatory. The students should be allowed to choose the subjects they want to study. Allowed, that means what? That means permitted. So there should be no compulsory school subjects. Students should be allowed to choose the subjects they want to study. Topic number 2 or title number 2. Schools don't prepare young people for life in the real world. And the last topic or the last title is there should be more discipline in schools. So we are going to choose one of the titles or one of the topics and write a for and against essay. For example, I'm going to choose topic number 1 or title number 1, which is there should be no compulsory school subjects. Students should be allowed to choose the subjects they want to study. So to guide you, first, as while writing, we should start with brainstorming. So as I said before, I have chosen the topic. There should be no compulsory school subjects. Students should be allowed to choose the subjects they want to study. So I have to start drawing a table, something like that, or using another techniques like spider map, or there are many techniques to do brainstorming, but for me I prefer this one. It's very easy, it's well organized. So I divided the table into 2 columns, So we have the first column and the second column. So the first column is about pros, that means advantages, or we can say for or agree, that means positive, that means what people said or what people opt for. And then we have what? We have cons, disadvantages, or against and disagree, that means negative. That means what people said against this topic. So to start brainstorming, I have already given you an example. For example, you can start writing just words, notes, just keywords, phrases, expressions, or sentences. For me, I use sentences. Okay, so you are free. So for me, it's better to write words, phrases, expressions. But sometimes it's good to write sentences to help you write fast and save time. Because for me, brainstorming, writing sentences is time saving. Good. So the first idea that goes with the topic is that students don't work hard if they are not interested in the subject. That means this idea is for the title. But against the title is that some students might only choose easy subjects. That means if we give the students chance to choose the subject, they won't choose the interesting subjects. They will choose just the subject that seem very easy for them if they feel lazy or less motivated. But this is a cons. This is a disadvantage. But as an advantage, it means what? It means if the students don't work hard, okay, if the students are not interested in the subject, they don't work hard. That means what? That means the students should be interested in the subject just in order to work harder and get fruitful results. So for me, as if you are just as a starter, you can just give two arguments. You can give two arguments for the title and two arguments for, I'm sorry, on the other two arguments against the title. So we have here 4, and here we have what? We have against. Good. So as we are still in while writing stage, so after you did brainstorming, for example, you can see that you come up with 4 ideas, 5 ideas, 7, 8, 10. Now you are going to do what? You are going now to make a rough plan. Okay, it's not a final plan, but it's just a rough plan as a starter. Then what you are going to do is to organize your notes into paragraphs. For example, you are going to select just the arguments that are very rich for your essay. For example, you have written for ideas, you can select just 2 the best ones. So now you can organize your notes into paragraph. For example, you can start with introduction, or you can start with the title. The title here is optional. To write an essay is optional. To write a title, it's not compulsory. Not like to write an article, but to write an article, the title is very important, is crucial. But in essay, you are free. That means here it's optional to write a title. Then you can start with introduction, then move into arguments for the title, then arguments against the title, finally your conclusions. Then you can start again drafting, editing, revising, proofreading. As you can start writing your essay, try to use linking words that I demonstrated beforehand for you. Then you can check your essay to refine it and modify it if necessary. So just to guide you, Then finally, we move to post writing, which is publishing. That means you can share your work. You can share your work with others, the audience. You can just publish it on Facebook or on YouTube, so using social media, or on in a newspaper, whatever. That means to share it in public. So, namely the readers, okay, such as your teacher, your classmate, or someone is more knowledgeable than you, MKO, to provide you with some feedback to refine your work and see if they agree with your ideas or not. This is just to accept criticism. Okay, so the last point is that I will show you. I will give you a summary about the writing process, because writing process is very important to develop your production. So, or your product. So the writing process here is not linear, but it's recursive and cyclical. I will make it clear for you. So before, just a summary. So before you start writing, we have what? We have a pre-writing. That means before you start writing. So pre-writing here, first you have what? You have to choose the topic, narrow it, brainstorming. Okay. After brainstorming, you move what? You move to writing. Writing here means what? Means drafting. That means the first attempt. So drafting. After you draft, then you revise or edit. As you see here, they are sometimes you can start drafting or writing, but you think that but you think that you should go back to the previous stage, which is pre-writing. That means you have what? You still need more other ideas. Then you have what? You have to do brainstorming again. That means here it's cursive. It's not linear. So after you revise, you check the spelling mistakes, the grammar, vocabulary, etc. Then you can go to drafting again if necessary. After you finish editing and revising, then you have the chance to publish. But before publishing, you have another chance to edit and revise, just to refine your work. So I hope this video is very essential or very beneficial for you. I hope that you like it and learn a lot of things. So for your research, for your work, you are sometimes obliged to write essays on different topics. So this is a chance for you to learn how to write an essay in appropriate way, and easy way for you. So if you like the video, I would like to thank you for watching and for your time. So see you next time in the next video.